If you're not caught up in the story, basically there was a mob, and this middle-aged woman got sucker punched, basically full on, like full straight sucker punched by like a man. And, you know, obviously like she got knocked out, basically. She like instantly got knocked out, and she got really fucked up from it. And a lot of the sentiment going around is that like, oh, like, so again, I don't know what happened. I don't know like what caused her to be in that position to actually get sucker punched by the dude. But a lot of the sentiment is that she deserved it. A lot of people are saying like, oh, like she deserved it. But like, I can't think of any possible reason for someone to, like, honestly, even if she was there saying bad things, I don't even think that would justify it. Obviously, like that level of violence, that's like murderous level of violence. So like homicide levels of violence. You can kill somebody with that, and I think that that's awful. And the fact that there are people that are basically excusing what happened is crazy. It's really, really crazy. And like, and again, like, let's be real, guys. If you flip the races here, cities would be on fire, and we all know it. Everybody knows that that would be the case.
According to this police chief, the only thing worse than a mob of violent thugs beating people in the street is you noticing things on social media.
Sorry. The context behind that, of me saying that, is because the news hasn't been covering it. Basically, only indie outlets were covering this case. Now a lot of the more mainstream places are covering it because it already got covered by all the indie people, so they're like kind of have to do it now.
This attack is going so viral, the mainstream media can no longer ignore it. But their police chief blames social media commentary.
Social media and journalism, and the role it plays in this incident. And yes, guys, that's you. That is you. The post that we've seen does not depict the entire incident.
So what happened?
That is one version. Social media and
So what's the version? Explain to me the version in which a middle-aged woman gets full straighted by a young man in the face, knocked out. Explain to me that version. You know what I mean? Like, let's hear it. I want to know what version justifies that. Like, I'm gonna be real. Like, she could have straight up said like, you know, she could have straight up said HH and played Erica on her phone, and I still think that doesn't justify it. So like, what's the case?
Mainstream media and their commentaries are a misrepresentation of the circumstances surrounding any given event.
Yeah, what's the case that justifies a mob beating up on some people? Like, I really want to know.
In thoroughly investigating the activity and enforcing the law, and it makes our job more difficult.
Just when we thought the vice mayor shrugging this attack off as adults showing bad behavior, the Cincinnati police swine has to swoop in and steal her shine with the stupidest statement ever. Stop filming these street beatings. It's making the police chief seem incompetent. As I honestly—
Wait, is that what she said though?
That is—
I don't think that's what she said though.
As I honestly don't think she's angry about how difficult a high-profile police investigation is proving. It's just that the social media virality is bringing in federal attorneys to oversee if justice will actually be served, as it really looks like it originally wasn't. And to make matters worse, look at NBC's national coverage of the 5 being charged after the video of violent altercation goes viral, as that title is so carefully
What did they say? 5 charged after video of violent altercation goes viral. That's so crazy because, like, you know exactly what would happen if it was the other way. It would be, guys, it would literally say this, right? It would literally, if you flip things, it would literally say this: mob of white people beats up on black woman. It would literally say that. Like, that would literally be the headline. Yeah, they're like, 5 charged after video of violent altercation. That's
the
crazy.
Video of violent altercation goes viral, as that title is so carefully tiptoeing over the elephant could actually be served, as it really looks like it originally wasn't. And to make matters worse, look at NBC's national coverage of the 5 being charged after the video of violent altercation goes viral, as that title is so carefully tiptoeing over the elephant in the room that is racial implications, but we'll get more into that later. As a report, the chief frames it as—
you wanna know the funny thing is this part's actually racist. Like, this is actually racist. Like, to actually give certain races special treatment in like how you cover scenarios and then go hard on another race on it. This is racist. Actually, this is actual racism in real time.
a sudden dispute between individuals following a verbal altercation. The chief states 5 faced charges, but declined to identify who or what they're being charged with, as those records are remaining sealed. She's literally downplaying every aspect of this crime while amplifying how damaging it is that social media.
Yeah, if you've seen the actual video, it's really, really crazy. Like the original video is basically there's this woman and then there's like people fighting over something, I don't know, but the woman's not really like directly engaged in the fight. I think she's like trying to stop something from happening, and then basically while she's not looking, this guy, this big dude, he's a young man, right? And this woman is like kind of older, right? She's kind of like middle-aged, and this man just gives her a straight from the side, like a full-on like full bare-fisted straight punch right into her face, basically, and it instantly knocks her out. Her eyes like glaze over and she just falls over, basically. She's like just completely on the ground, and like she's just on the ground like this, like with her eyes open. Like her eyes aren't even closed, like her eyes are open, like she's on the ground like that, just completely just fucking gone. Yeah, like the concussion was insane that she got.
Showed you it, as she then goes into blaming alcohol for the altercation, and then the 100 plus people there, where only one person called them, which is unacceptable. Basically blaming everyone at the scene, including telephones and beverages, except the mob of violent thugs attacking people. As one, it's kinda difficult to dial 911 while unconscious.
By the way, if you know, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna make the point. This was exactly what I was talking about how men have a forced disparity against women. Like just the damage that men can inflict with like a single attack is like insane. Like a single physical attack is a single physical melee attack from a man can just destroy you, basically, just one hit.
On the floor. 2, I don't think that people squealing in delight at seeing this attack could be relied upon for reporting crimes, and more importantly, by the way the chief is currently reacting, I have zero confidence that a call for police would be helping anybody, as this police chief has a history of issues with white men in Cincinnati, with her own officers suing her over allegedly preferring to give promotions to minorities or women, where in a majority male field.
Kate Ashton that says yes, men can kill women very easily with bare hands. Yes, that's why I say that you can't be a feminist and be anti-2A at the same time.
The simple math seems to prove their claims. But remember, in the story about Cincinnati police versus Kentucky police, their lieutenants didn't seem too competent. So maybe it was more of a skill issue than an affirmative action issue, but whenever you have top-to-bottom problems within a quasi-military organization, oftentimes it's the leader causing all of it. Not to say the media isn't also to blame, as NBC News goes on to state the man that got beaten threw the first punch, later writing that 2 other dudes were attacked too, with the woman defending him being knocked unconscious by someone in the crowd. But then blaming Elon Musk and high-profile right-wing accounts for framing it as an assault by a black mob on a white couple.
Wait, but it was like a fuck ton of... but the force disparity was crazy in the video.
Their sentences after they explained exactly that. No.
Wait.
On a white couple.
The crowd appears to attack 2 other men. Appear another man in the video. A woman trying to defend him gets knocked unconscious by someone in the crowd. Yes.
Sentences after they explained exactly that. Nobody needed to frame it as anything, as your own eyes provided all the info.
I don't see any sort of case. Even if like she straight up said the N-word to them, the fact that it was a sucker punch means that there was no self-defense involved, right? Like if you watch the video, there's no possible self-defense claim for this. There's no world in which, no matter what she said, this should be allowed, basically, is what I'm saying.
Information you needed. It's just insane that the same media that's been race baiting for the last decade suddenly wants to shy away from noticing color. As in my video about it yesterday, I intentionally didn't want to...
I'm not saying she said that. I'm making a point that if you want to say that she started it, there's no starting it that justifies what happened.
Mention race, just trying to make it between victims.
She would have to like pull out a gun or something. That's like the only way.
And attackers. But I still received critical comments about how the news doesn't cover random street fights. I have a trash premise. Never mind the fact that the media basically wets itself when there's a viral fight with racial implications. When one specific ethnicity outnumbers the other specific ethnicity, where in this case, the police will immediately release the names of the arrested.
Yup, there it is, right? Cops name 3 white men all the time, like all the time. They always do that. And then now it's like, we don't want to say it. You know, like we can't say that. This is what I mean. This is racist. This is actually racism, like for real.
With the AP connecting it to the Confederacy. So yes, the news loves covering viral street fights, as that's just one of the many examples of this, which leads their readers to leave comments like this, thinking young black men are being lynched all over the.
This is kind of what I mean about how like people say shit like this with impunity, and they just cause a situation of fear, right? Like they'll say like Christians are out there killing trans people. Okay, well show me, and nobody can show it because surely you could point to one, right? The only one I can think of is Juicy Smollett. Yeah, didn't that guy get away with it? Juicy Smollett got away with it, right? I'm pretty sure he did. He got away with it. He didn't have to like even pay stuff. Maybe they're using lynch as a hyperbole to mean racially motivated killings. And they want to say that like, oh, it's what we mean by lynching is white people that have killed black people. You don't want to run the inverse of that. Yeah, the only ones here are, okay, so guys, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 cases. 4 cases in the last 5 years, okay? So one of them was, so 4 cases, okay? One of them was deemed a self-isekai, and so that's off the table. There's another one that was deemed a, another one was deemed as a self-isekai, but they're investigating sort of foul play possibility. So we don't know about that one. That one's in Alabama. There's another one here. This one is in North Carolina. Investigation has deemed that it was a self-isekai. And then there's another one here in Mississippi called a lynching in media analysis, but no forehand missing dismembered skeletal remains found in woods. This one is inconclusive. So you have one inconclusive case, two self-isekais, and one possible foul play, but unknown. So like even like if you were to look it up, right? So young men being lynched all over the United States and never makes it to the news. There is like possibly one case of it in the last 5 years, possibly one, and that's like again not even conclusive. This is like unsure, like possibility, like could it be it? It could be, but we don't know. So there's basically nothing. Now, if you want to talk like racial violence, if like you want to go that far and go, how many black people were murdered by white people, racial reasons in the last 5 years, run the inverse as well. So we'll let that crunch. We'll let that crunch because it has to like search the internet and shit. So we'll let that one crunch and we'll keep going here.
US and it never makes the news. Yes. All the not making the news of even the hoax.
I'm like, guys, I'm not trying to say that like I'm not trying to make some statement of there being like a thing that I'm not trying to make a racist statement of like one race being worse than the other. I'm not trying to do that. What I'm trying to point out is the ridiculousness of all of this. Is if you're gonna use the data that way and say like, oh, this white people are being killed by black people, then why don't we run the opposite too? Why don't we run the statistics the other way? See where we go there, right? I'm not the one trying to run those kind of statistics, right? I'm not the one like using that to like make some kind of statement, right? What I'm saying is if you're gonna run it, let's run it then. If you want to run the numbers, let's run the numbers. I'm not an advocate of running the numbers.
Of this. They get so ignored they even make Netflix documentaries about it 6 years later. Or the non-stop coverage of the pull tab found in a garage that even with no findings, the news still classified it as a noose. It's almost like we collectively don't want coverage.
If you don't know the Jussie Smollett thing, basically this guy, he's like an actor, and we can watch a story on it later if you want. But the gist of it is, there's an actor who was out in the middle of like freezing temperatures. He claims he went to Subway, and then 2 white men wearing MAGA hats walked up to him, said, "This is MAGA country," and then put a noose around his neck and then poured bleach on him. Right? So the police were like, that's fucking weird, right? And so what happened was he called the police. Jussie Smollett calls the police and he goes, these guys, like, they like racially attacked me. And so the police get there and he still has the noose around his neck. Like he's still wearing it around his neck. And they're like, oh, what the fuck, bro? Like, why are you still wearing that shit? And then they do a bunch of investigations. They found out that Jussie Smollett basically got 2 of his friends to fucking do it to him. So he wasted police resources, police time on a fucking race hoax, gets called out on it, and then the the prosecutor doesn't prosecute him for it. They basically let him go, despite the fact that he wasted like resources, like city resources, and he should have had to pay a fine for all of that shit. He didn't have to do it. Yeah, it was a good old false flag attack. Yeah, because none of the story made sense.
Of crimes that would cause racial tensions in the country. We're just curious why the corporate media.
Yes, and it was Nigerians. Yeah, it was Nigerians who did the supposed bleach pouring and noosing of him.
Suddenly does.
And then yeah, so like when it first came out, the news blew up about it. Like, oh man, like I can't believe, dude, this guy went on fucking TV, dude. Hold on.
Jussie Smollett sat down with me for his first interview.
Look at guys, look at this guy with all of his fucking pins, dude. I swear, bro. I swear to God, this is MAGA country. Yeah, dude, look at this guy. Look at this absolute fucking clown here with all of his fucking like, dude. He's like an actual X account. He's like an actual Blue Sky account, like incarnate. Is that like the fucking Black Lives Matter pin, dude? This guy is literally like a fucking or a walking Blue Sky account right here. But anyway,
as I was crossing the intersection, I heard Empire, and I don't answer to Empire. My name ain't Empire. And I didn't answer. I kept walking, and then I heard Empire. So I turned around and I said, "The did you just say to me?" And I see the attacker masked, and he said, "This MAGA country," punches me right in the face. So I punched his ass back. And then we started tussling. You know, it was very icy. And we ended up tussling by the stairs. Fighting. There was a second person involved who was kicking me in my back. And then it just stopped. And they ran off. And I saw where they ran. And the phone was in my pocket, but it had fallen out. And it was sitting there.
You want to know the big mistake that this guy made? This isn't the 90s anymore. There's fucking cameras everywhere. Everywhere. Like, what did this guy think? He lives in the city. He thinks there's no cameras. Like, there's not going to be a single camera that's going to capture him or like anybody else on like their walk path.
And my manager was still on the phone. So I picked up the phone and I said, "Brandon." And he's like, "What's going on?" And I said, "I was just jumped." And then I look down and I see that there's a rope around my neck, which I hadn't.
You hadn't noticed it before?
No, because it was so fast. You know what I'm saying? It was so fast.
How long did this all...
Anyway, like, that's kind of what I was talking about, basically.
Doesn't want to cover a story due to those same racial dynamics they seem so obsessed with. But when your local law enforcement finds it more important to shame social media than the actual attackers, you know that the police don't care about the people. She's there to protect and serve the narrative.
Yep.
So if you appreciate my concise, lighthearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, subscribe to Decoy Voice.
Anyway, yeah, this case has been kind of going around, kind of doing the rounds right now, and people are very obviously trying to put like their spin on it. And then we'll check out the other part of the story, which is going to be here from Benny Johnson, who's also talking about it.
Next time, baby.